Double lift. 2 words. Double lift. And what is a double lift? What is a double lift in the world of card magic? A double lift is a sleight of hand maneuver used by magicians in card magic. That is, it's a method by which the magician can keep the identity of the top card secret by lifting the top 2 cards as one, making it seem as though they lifted only the top card. And when the cards, as a card, is shown to the audience is tricked into believing that they are shown the top card of the deck, whereas in fact they are shown the second card. And when the cards are displayed, the maneuver is sometimes called the double lift turnover. That is, those 2 cards turn in 3-dimensional space, or they are otherwise maneuvered. Needless to say, there are different ways to perform this maneuver, this sleight, many of which allow variations such as a triple lift or even a quadruple lift. And in some versions of the celebrated ambitious card routine, most of them rely entirely upon this sleight, or in combination with a few other mechanics or good showmanship. In fact, an entire act could be made out of this single move. In fact, for my money, I would say that this move is the most versatile, most flexible, most powerful move in the history of magic. It's also a move that has been recklessly abused. From a historic standpoint, the concept was first described in a book that was published in 1716, so it has a long history. The book published in 1716 was called The Merry Companion, or Delights for the Ingenious, written by a man named Richard Neve, or Neve. Probably the next time that it saw print was in a French book by Ponzin, a name that I can't pronounce. And then much later, and maybe more conspicuously in the 20th century, Greater Magic, John Northern Hilliard's huge book that came out in 1938. So let's look at the word itself, or the 2 words. Double, meaning 2. Lift, meaning to raise up. It's kind of a misnomer. It's somewhat confusing. And what is it we're lifting? Well, the property is a playing card. And what do we know about a playing card? If you want to get technical about it, if you want to really drill down, what does a playing card weigh? A poker-sized card? Well, I'm told it weighs 1.8 grams, or 0.063 ounces, which I think is probably less than your average feather. And by the way, if you take 52 of these cards together as a deck, most decks weigh about 3.3 ounces. This isn't very much unless you got a whole suitcase full of them. How big is the playing card? What is it on a flat plane? What's its size? Well, poker-sized cards, I think, are 2.5 inches by 3.5 inches. Not much here either. So, how hard could it be to lift 2 playing cards, which would weigh less than 4 grams? Not much. So what happens besides lifting? Well, you are going to lift a card, and maybe you're going to turn the card, you're going to rotate the card, you're going to snap the card, you're going to flip the card, you're going to slide the card, and you're going to look at its underside to show the face, and then you're going to maneuver it by turning and placing and all manner of movements, mechanics in three-dimensional space to replace it on the deck, and then you're going to take off the top card, and the move is done. What should be hard about that? Well, it turns out it's harder than you think, because there are a couple of terrifying caveats. In other words, you must not have those 2 cards separate. You must strongly convey the illusion of singularity. These 2 cards must look like one card. And what if you drop them? What if the cards split apart? What if they look too thick to just be one card? And what if your clutching grip on the cards looks too desperate and awkward? And as you can see, the fears, the trepidations multiply. And there you are. And over the years since Greater Magic, there's been a ton of popular techniques. There's one-hand push-offs. There's knockout double lifts. There's natural double lifts. There's pushover double lifts. There's strike double lifts. There's flip over double lifts. There's instantaneous double lifts. There's double lifts that crackle as they turn over. There are pivoting double lifts. All of them have a different adjective to them, and all of them have a different kind of finesse or slightly different movement. Perhaps the most daunting is a 2-card throw, in which the 2 cards are thrown or dropped onto the table as one card. Some are just shot out of the deck, and they skid across the surface and remain aligned. So that's it. That is what we're talking about when we talk about the double lift or heavy lifting.